Alrighty then. Hey, welcome to the next project where I waste my money in a really stupid way. But hey, I've been kind of watching the auctions because I see this bike. It's a Triumph. It's in my head. I think of Steve McQueen. I think of crossing the desert. I think of cruising through streams and blasting. I think of the Scrambler 1200 XE. And oh my God, if you could see the look on my face when there was one in the auction and I actually got it. I'm a little bit excited today because I got my Triumph shirt on. I'm a little bit excited today because that bike that I got at auction, I'm like, what the heck? Now, don't expect it to be in very good shape, but for the price, $3,000. Truck's supposed to be here any minute, and I'm I don't know, I'm going crazy about it. Very excited. As soon as it gets here, we'll go out and check it out. Truck is here. That's not mine. All right, guys, time for the big reveal. This is the first chance I get to see it. A bit excited. Now, I know there's some missing parts. Oh, look, missing front fender. Well, it's bent. The speedometer's missing. The light's missing. The tank is dented. Yeah, there's a lot of missing parts here. Wires hanging down all over the place. I got some parts that I'm starting to think there's a dented muffler. Oh, what did I do? So the bike has arrived. I've taken a quick look over it now, and hey, this could break me because it's going to be, I think, expensive to try and fix this thing. But let's take a quick look and a quick assessment. So a little tiny scratch in the exhaust, not so bad. The rest of the exhaust back here is good. This got scraped on the ground here. It must have fallen on this side, at least. So, aftermarket exhaust would be cool. This foot peg was actually just turned over, but it swivels, so it just needs to be tightened down here, and that foot peg is fine and not bent. Some scratches on this foot peg, but not bent. Crazy, not bent. So the whole back of the bike is looking really good. I see some scratches on the rim here, but I think that's probably just from hopping a curb or something like that. Maybe maybe when it fell over it scratched the rim there. That's probably just a touch-up though, nothing else. Coming around the back, the fender's all good. This guy didn't even get to ride it very far at all. Didn't even get his plates yet. And then the seat cover is ripped in a couple of places. You see that? Sorry, right there and right there. Shocks in the rear are perfect. This side looks like it's completely unscathed, not even a scratch on this side at all. And turn off the ignition there. And so that's kind of cool. So the ignition there. Oh, actually that's interesting. So it's got an ignition switch here. The key fob turns it on. We can probably change that. That was my biggest worry, is that the ignition and key fob are missing. But hey, we'll get to that. Engine looks great. Kickstand looks great. Tank on this. Oh, look, the tank looks perfect. Not really. So look at this. So the bar got pushed back, and then it got moved back. And if you turn this, it comes right into the tank. So this whole assembly right here hit the tank and dented it in. No hole and no cracks in the tank. So this is probably a repair thing. We'll have this completely stripped out, that dent pulled out, scratches fixed. This got tagged a little bit here from something. That dent is not, that's on both sides, so it's not really dented. There's actually here, so there was something on the bike that hit it right here. And then we'll go to the front. So everything's missing here. So this is the expensive part. The gauge cluster, which they don't even list from Triumph, is missing. The light is missing. The fender is bent completely up. I thought the forks were going to be bent, and they are not. The forks are straight. This may not be quite as bad as I thought, but what do you guys think? Coming down from my excitement on the Triumph project, because if you look over here, I've got lists of parts needed to fix that bike, and it's pretty extensive, and the parts are so dang expensive. These new bikes, I'm telling you, they're so expensive. Buying a cheap, somewhat damaged used bike could be more expensive than buying a brand new one. Let's go out and take a look really quick. So it's not going to be more expensive than a brand new one. I know that the bike originally sold for like $18,000. I think you can go buy one for about $14,000 right now. So God, why so much more money? Why so much more? But let's go over some of the damage. Yeah, let's do that right now. All right, so first off, I should walk around the other side of the bike here. So this bike has like 1,600 miles on it. And as you can see, the tank is damaged. Let me just give you some prices as we go through here. This tank, just the tank, $1,590. So there's just over $1,500 right there. The exhaust system, I didn't bother looking this up because I'll probably put an aftermarket exhaust system on here, but we're over $1,000 for the exhaust. I'm sure. I didn't look it up. So that's the tank was a big shocker, right? We come around to the front. The headlight's missing. The headlight itself is only about, I say only, about 500. But that's just the headlight. That's just like if you go buy a replacement headlight for your Jeep, which would be about $65. This one is 500. The rest of it, the bucket and the wiring loom that goes in and out of it, all the little bolts and things, all the little shims. So if you buy the whole bucket, the whole light, it's $825-ish just for a headlight. Oh, you can see this is going to add up. The speedometer, which on some units could be like $3,000. No, not on this one. It's about, gosh, what was it? It was in the I think it was about $500 for that. And then we've got these assembly here, the switches and all of that. I'm not actually going to remember all the prices because I don't remember that. But since this wiring harness is completely stripped, oops, hey, guess what? The horn works. Hey, one of those is the horn. Live wire. And so I'm going to have to replace the wiring harness, or I'd have to rewire all that, and I'm not sure I'm down for that. So I'm thinking a whole new wiring harness. Actually, it was pretty reasonable at like $300. We'll have to, here's the new assembly up here. It's going to have to be replaced. That's this side. Hand guards and stuff. I'm going to put on real hand guards, not these plastic ones, so don't need to worry about that. Let's see what else. Blinkers. I'm going to put on aftermarket shorty blinkers, so that doesn't really matter. But you can see the expenses I have to buy new. This brake line right here, because of the ABS system, this is the front brake, but it doesn't go to the front brake. It goes back to a module and then comes back out. So you have to buy the whole assembly, or go have somebody make one of these, which would be pretty simple. Buying the whole assembly, want to get a new one, and you get OEM. As we come around, so this is one of your antennas for your key fob system. This is the one that goes up front, and then there's another one back here. Let's see if I close that. I did close that. Underneath the seat is the rest of the key fob system, and there's another one of these antennas just underneath the seat in front of where they tell you to put the key. We could remove the key fob system, but it's really not all that expensive to reprogram it with Triumph, so we'll go with the key fob system again. The ignition switch is all in here. We'll have to replace the lock set because the keys are missing. Okay, if I went grand total of all the stuff, which I haven't really covered it, but to make this bike new again, in parts alone, just for the parts, is over, I think it was over $7,500 in new parts, and I didn't count tires. I didn't, because I need a new tire for the front. So even if I paid only $3,000 for this, I mean, we're at like $10,000 for a used motorcycle that may not be exactly stock. I would still have scratched. Well, if I replace the exhaust first. Okay, so I'm going to try to get under that budget by quite a bit. We've got some help, I think, from Triumph coming here to at least give me some reduced cost on some of these parts. And if we can get that price down, maybe get this build under $7,500 total, I would be excited about that, because that would be worth it. And that's kind of what I'm going for, is trying to get this build under 7,500 bucks. This taillight, see that taillight? That little thing's broken right there. You can't just buy the lens. $350. I won't be putting that one back on. Plus, I hate that taillight. And then I'm saving myself $1,500 by taking this tank and bringing it to a shop and have them restore it. And I may do a custom paint job instead of this standard one. And Triumph just came out with a new bike, and they did this logo super big across the tank. It goes across, it's their 660, and it goes kind of like that. And I'm thinking that might look cool. I got to talk to the shop. They got to pull all these dents out and all of that. And more like $500 to do that instead of $1,500 for the new tank. So I think that's a good deal. I could actually do a 3-part headlight, still a round one, kind of like you see in the Jeeps or whatever. That Baja Designs, the all LED. It's a little bit better light than it would be in here. But I kind of want that stock look a little bit. I know it's going to be, you know, $800 for that light. Oh gosh, I don't know. And by the time you guys see this, I'll have already made the decision. I would ask for your opinion, because I need it. I don't really know what to do. I like the idea of the Baja Designs headlight, or even like the aftermarket Jeep headlights that are going to be brighter than the stock one. I'd have to come up with a bucket for it. I'm back and forth. I got to make that decision today, though, because I'm ordering the parts this afternoon. All right, well, hey, you know what? That is the update on the Triumph project right now, and I'll assemble the parts. The only thing I've done to this bike is put it on the stand here, and I did one little thing, which I kind of feel bad, but you know what? Who wants me to watch me? This bolt was loose to hold the passenger peg on, and it just spun upside down. I just took it off and I mean, you don't want to see that. I just did that. Anyways, the rest of it, we'll get video on it, and check you next time.